Hello, hello, everyone. Today is day 8 of the 21 days that we're in the midst of right now. And today is going to be on chronic pain and frequent fight flight experiences during daily life. And Connie, I just wanted to add, Cami wrote this, and then Connie, I want to add in, I'll do the fibromyalgia tomorrow. We'll just plan that for your friend, because it's a different, I'll read out of the Healing Questions Guidebook. So, but let's go to, I'm going to read, I think most people know that have been around. I use this book all the time. You can say, oh my God, the Healing Questions Guide. It's by Wendy Jensen. And it's really about the body mind connection. And when I was doing that training, this was one of the books that was used a lot. And I use this all the time. So I'm going to just go with pain, because I don't really have chronic pain, but just pain, which to me is the same thing. What will it take for me to stop punishing myself? What will it take for me to clean up the mess I have made and get my life back on track? So I'm going to tell you right here, I have to edit these questions sometimes, because that, to me, what will it take to clean up the mess I have made and get my life back on track? I just think that's very judgy. So I would just say, what will it take for me to start getting back on track, not clean up the mess I have in my life? I mean, who doesn't have a mess in their life at some point? And so if you get this book, I edit a lot in it, because anything that's really judgy, I'm like, just doesn't work for me. And I just don't, I mean, we all do it to ourselves way too much already. So what will it take to get my life back on track? And you might not know the answer to that whatsoever, because if you did, you'd be doing it. Like, that's get your life back on track, put your big girl, big boy pants on. It's like, that's all fair and well, but if you don't know how, and if there's trauma there, you're not going to be able to do that. Hey, Marcia, what can I do to be in a more healthy relationship? And that can be with your spouse, a friend, a boss, yourself. What am I currently resenting about my life that if I let go, I would experience more joy, happiness, and direction? So I want to share this piece, that post I did last night by Brene Brown. And I so resonate with that. It was truly profound for me in a really different way. And she talks about herself in the first 30 some odd years of her life. She had no boundaries for herself. For her boundaries were constantly being violated because she was trying to be a good girl all the time. And we live in a culture that very much wants that. And I would also say, even more so, particularly if you're a woman, in our culture, it's be nice, be pleasing, be this, be that. And if you're not those things, you end up feeling bad about yourself, because it's part of the patriarchal culture that we live in. So it's what I would say, and that's why I love tapping, because you want to go into the resentment. You want to go to the blame in tapping. I do blame them. I'm super pissed at them. I hate them, whatever it is. The pure, unadulterated truth with tapping is life-changing, because then I'm not trying to be the good girl. And I'm not saying anybody that's watching this tries to do it. That was me forever. It still can be me. But what I love what Brene said is, when she is less sweet, but she's more loving now. And I so relate to that, because as we learn, and it is a process of learning to have boundaries, especially when you've been this wide open thing your whole life and weren't taught to have boundaries. And I see that in myself very much, where I might let my boundaries be pushed, and I do turn into, like, I call it Hagatha, because I get resentful, I get pissed, and because I'm not honoring my own boundary. So then I go in, and it's feelings aren't buried dead, they're buried alive. They have to go someplace. So you think about, with chronic pain, what are the ways I'm punishing myself? If you're anything like me and grew up in a Catholic religion, the punishment is like, you're not right if you're not punishing yourself in some way. So to learn that, to like let go of, I punish myself, and it's a process, it's a journey. And I would say, most likely with chronic pain, there is an inner punisher. I call it the bully in the brain, that is overactive. And how I see it is, we have the inner child that's wounded, and then we have the bully in the brain. So that's like the culmination of all the authority figures we had in life, and it beats up on the child. So the two keys is to catch the bully in action, going, you'll never make it. Who do you think you are? Why'd you say that to them? Why'd you do it? Catch that, interrupt it, keep tapping through it. I have to tell mine to fuck off. That's what I have to do at times. And other times I'm like, stop it. But the more you catch it and interrupt it, the less you're going to find that inner battle goes on. And then the other part is to soothe the child, that is punishing themselves. To be like, it's okay, baby. I know you learned to punish yourself. And that is literally how I talk to my child. And I get a picture of myself and go, it's okay. It's okay. You punish yourself. You learn to, but I'm here to help you learn to not punish yourself. That may sound crazy to some people. It's profound. It's profound how it changes when you realize who's running my show right now. Is the bully in my brain running my show, have a grip on me, punishing me, telling me everything that's wrong with me? And then is my little child going, oh, you're right, I suck, I'm terrible, I'm an awful human being. And like to soothe that part. When you get to become aware, like Eckhart Tolle says, watching the thinker, you're better able to see who's running your show and you start to separate from it. So that's the pain. And then I wanted to look up, where's the other part here? I'll do fibromyalgia. So nervousness. So let me say this. If you're constantly in self-punishment mode, you're going to have an overactive nervous system without question, because you're going to be in chronic stress. And chronic stress, acute stresses, there's a grizzly bear in my meadow. It's a great thing. I mean, acute stress it saves our lives. I got to get out of here. Chronic stress is the thing that keeps us in fight, flight, freeze. So nervousness, what will it take for me to start trusting the process of life? What will it take to connect with my own inner being and my own feelings? What will it take for me to focus on something or someone other than myself and my fears? Okay, that's a little judgy. You know, I always have to change these because we learn as children to focus on ourselves. And I do think we do need to focus on ourselves to move through stuff, but then it comes more balanced out. What will it take for me to find, to feel safe in the world? I would tell you that last one is it in a nutshell. What will it take to feel safe in the world? Like, I don't feel safe in the world. So let's tap, karate chop. Even though I don't feel safe in this world, no wonder I'm in chronic stress. No wonder I'm in chronic pain. No wonder my nervous system is overactive. I choose to acknowledge this truth right now. Even though I have chronic pain, what if that mirrors that inner punisher, that bully in my brain that's constantly punishing me? I choose to question this right now. Even though I have chronic pain, because that bully in my brain is a chronic pain to me. What if I could start to awaken to this bully in my brain and interrupt it, and over time see things differently? This chronic pain. Of course, my nervous system's overactive. I'm in chronic stress mode. So my nervous system never gets to relax. And if I don't feel safe in this world, how could my nervous system ever relax? And what if this chronic pain is information for me? It's mirroring my inner world, where I'm in chronic pain emotionally. What if that's true? What if I can start to recognize what this chronic pain is telling me? What if that starts to awaken me to the inner dialogue that goes on within me all the time? What if the key to healing here is to recognize my inner bully, to catch it in the act of feeding me this shit show? And when I catch it, that's interrupting it. And what if, as I become more aware of this voice, I start to separate from it? It doesn't take me over so much. And I calm down over time because I'm calming my nervous system. And what if I start to notice this chronic pain starts to find relief? Because as I heal the chronic emotional pain I've experienced as long as I can remember, what if it unburdens my nervous system, unburdens my body, and I start to heal from the inside out? This chronic pain, every time I recognize it, which is all day long, it tends to feed on itself. So what if the only thing I have to do right now is interrupt it when I catch it? And what if that's a great place to start? Because this chronic pain is speaking to me. It's letting me know something's ready to be healed. And what if, as I start to honor everything I've been through in my life, tap through my experiences as they surface, what if over time I create an opening for the good to come into being? Because I'm working with the chronic pain, softening how it feels in my body by interrupting how I feel about it emotionally. And what if that's a recipe for success over time as I keep healing from the inside out? And then take a breath. So that's a start. And what I would say, this is where also the mental noting could come in really handy, especially if you're dealing with chronic pain, because chronic pain is exhausting. It's like painful, painful. You could just say it, name it out loud, name the emotion that you're feeling, if it's frustration, anger, despair, whatever you're feeling, mental noting is just, it's a mindfulness meditation technique, if you haven't heard of it before, where you're just naming it. You give it a blurb. Like I told this story many times before. One day I was hiking and I started to notice, I got very conscious all of a sudden of my thoughts, and I'm like, oh my God. And I just said out loud to myself, abusing. And I actually burst into laughter in that moment, because I was like, good Lord, the thoughts in my head are so abusive. But I became aware of them, just mental noted it, abusing, and it immediately shifted the energy for me. It doesn't mean it's going to immediately shift it all the time, but it doesn't matter, because what you're doing is you're doing an interruption. It's a pattern interrupt to that you've just, what's happening with chronic pain is you have a lot of momentum that's been going for a while, and the feeling. So as you bring mindfulness to that, and not like, oh, mindfulness and I'm suddenly going to stop feeling the pain, but mindfulness to the pain. Because in neuroscience, the body is the subconscious mind. The body carries for us all the unexpressed emotions that we haven't been able to express. That's neuroscience that says that. So as you start to become conscious and go, maybe even ask the chronic pain, what are you trying to share with me? What are you trying to tell me? What do you need me to know? When you start to talk to it that way, you're starting to actually befriend it instead of resist it. And then there's information in there for you. And then what you need to unearth comes up. And I will tell you what I believe, because I've seen this in the thousands of sessions I've done, and in my own life specifically, is as I start to work with, what's the energy behind this? What is the chronic pain trying to tell me? What's going on here? Like, what am I afraid of? Or what's happened in my life? And I tap through that, I find relief. And I just think it's again, it's that being mindful and starting to befriend the chronic pain, because most of us go into rejection of the body. And I've done it, oh my God, so many times. I'm like, oh my God, there I am. I'm getting so frustrated with my body. And it's like, it's okay. Thank you for trying to help me. Thank you for telling me. Thank you for informing me. What is it you need me to know? It's a very different way to look at it, and start to soften the frustration, the despair, the lack of hope, because you're coming into, what are you trying to tell me? Because it really is just information. It's trying to express something to us. And I know that sounds very simplistic, and I'm not saying that's like tap 3 times and it's all just going to be, butterfly farts and fairy farts and everything is beautiful. It's not that at all. It's going into that, what are you trying to tell me? And then you're honoring the inner child who has been through so much, who needs a voice. And that's how I believe the inner child talks to us, is through the pain in our life. So Jillian, great to see you here. Ida and Marcia, hope you found this helpful. And tomorrow I'll do the one on fibromyalgia, and just keep working my way down the list. That's it, ladies. Have a great rest of your day, and see you next time. Bye for now.